magnificent line. Guides, posts, every man and every horse is eager for the next command. There comes the flag. To the standard! The regiment is going to the front. Oh, I do wish I could go with it. I always do the moment I hear the trumpets, boots, saddles. Mount! I wish I was in command of the raiment. It was born in me. Four's right. There they go. Look, the horse's ears forward. Bappity plap, clap, clap. Ah, if I were only a man. The enemy. On third battle line, left, front, into line. March! Draw sabers! Charge! And the first old Marjorie took me to father. In her arms, she had to tell him I was a girl. Father was as much disgust as I was, but he'd never admit it. He says I'm as good a soldier as any of 'em, just as I am.
Miss Jenny.
Barket, the regiment has marched away to the front, and we girls are left here with just you and a corporal's guard to look after us.
I have been watching the boys myself. A little military sugar plum like you, Miss Jenny. Objects to not going with it. What you think of an old piece of hard track like me. I can't join the regiment till I have taken you and Miss Madeline back to Winchester by your father's orders. But isn't the first time I escort you, Miss Jenny. Many the times when you were a baby on the plains, I commanded a special guard to accompany ye from one fort to another, and we gave the command in a whisper, so as not to waken thee up.
I told you to tell father that I'd let him know when Madeline and I were ready to go.
Would that I soon move a train of army mules.
I suppose we must start from home again today?
Yes, Miss Jenny, in charge of the old sergeant, with his arm in the sling and a couple of cavalry troopers. This department of the United States Army will move to the rear in half an hour.
Madeline and I only came yesterday morning.
And your father got yelled past to the front. We all thought fighting in the Shenandoh Valley was over. It looks now as if the beginning there's no place for women. Now, Miss Gertrude ought to go with us, but she won't.
Barket, Captain Hersey left the regiment yesterday, and he has not rejoined it. He isn't with them now at the head of his company. Where is he?
I can't say where he is, Miss Jenny. Lying unburied in the woods where he was shot, I'm afraid.
When Captain Hersey does rejoin the regiment, Barket, please say to him for me that I may have some orders for him when we meet next.
When they next meet, tell us where is there's no such thing as marriage. If Miss Jenny and Captain Hersey meet here, they'll bet us something that's mighty like it. While I was lying wounded in General BuckThorn's house in Washington last summer, good Marjorie was taking care of me. Marjorie told me confidently that there was in love, and I think she was about right. I have seen Captain Hersey take a slight look at her lace handkerchief just before we went to battle. Here's the General BuckThorn himself, and he is mine as easily as we can Miss Jenny's poor heart.
Sergeant Barket, you haven't started with those girls yet?
To go in half an hour, sir.
Be sure they do go. Is General Haverill here?
Yes, sir, in the house with some of his staff and the surgeon.
Ah, the surgeon. How is Colonel West this morning after the wound he received last night?
He says himself that he as well as he was, but the colonel and the surgeon don't agree on the subject. The doctor that says that he mustn't leave his room for a month. The knife went damp and something went wrong inside of him, but the colonel, being on the outside himself, cannot see it. He's as cross as a bear, because they will not let him go on the front of the morning at the head of his regiment. I happened to remark that the chaplain was praying for his recovery. The colonel said that he court-martialed him. He didn't stop that. Quick! There's more important things for the chaplain to pray for in his official capacity. Just at the moment the trumpet sounded, boots and saddles. I have to dodge one of his boots, and the surgeon had a narrow escape of the other. It was lucky for both of his saddle wasn't in the room.
That looks encouraging. I think Kerchival will get on.
Might I say a word to you, sir, about Miss Jenny?
Certainly, Barket. You and old Marjorie and myself have been sort of a triangular mother, so to speak, to the little girl since her own poor mother left her out to our care when she was only a baby in the old Fort of the Plains.
Mother's bosom would have been the softest place for her poor little head to rest upon, now, sir.
Well?
Marjorie told in Washington that Miss Jenny and Captain Harsey were in love with each other.
In love?
I approve of the match.
What the devil?
Did Margie?
March? Ah, Haverill. General BuckThorn. Have you heard anything of General Surgeon since I sent you to dispatch him last evening? He received it at midnight, and sent back word that he considers it a ruse of the enemy. General Wright agrees with him. The reconnaissance today shows no hostile force on our right, and Crook reports that Early is retreating up the valley, but General Sheridan may perhaps give up the journey to Washington, and he has ordered me some changes in our line to be executed this afternoon at 4 o'clock. I rode over to give you instructions in person. You may order General McCune to go into camp on the night of the Meadow Brook with the 2nd Division.
Oh, Father, I'm so glad you've come. I've got something to say to you.
Fall in, front face. What's this I hear from Sergeant Barket? He says you've been falling in love?
I have.
Young woman, listen to my orders. Fall out.
Father, dear.
Order the 3rd Brigade of the Cavalry under Colonel Laya to occupy the left of the pike. Good day, General BuckThorn.
I haven't finished yet. General Haverill, Colonial West persists in disobeying the injunctions of the surgeon. He's preparing to join his regiment at the front. Give him your orders to remain here. Compel him to be prudent.
The honor of death at the front is not in reserve for him.
What did you say, General?
Gertrude, I wish to speak to you as your father's old friend, and I was once your guardian. Your father was my senior officer in the Mexican War. Without his care, I should have been left dead in the foreign land. He himself afterwards fell fighting for the old flag.
The old flag? My father died for it, and he's suffering for it. The old flag?
I cannot return the kindness your father did to me by protecting his daughter from something that may be worse than death.
What do you mean?
Last night, I saw you kneeling at the side of Kerchival West. You spoke to him with all the tender passion of a southern woman. You said you loved him, but you spoke into the ears that could not hear you. Has he ever heard those words from your lips? Have you ever confessed your love to him before?
Never. Why do you ask?
Do not repeat those words. Keep your heart to yourself, my girl.
General, why do you say this to me at such a moment when his life...
His life, it belongs to me.
Oh.
Sergeant, are there any orders from the regiment beyond those given to Major Wilson in my absence this morning? I am about to ride on after the troops and reassume my command. It is my wish, Colonel, that you remain here under the care of the surgeon. Yet to explain certain matters as you requested me. It is my wish, Colonel, that you remain here under the care of the surgeon. I interfere with my duty and my privilege as a soldier, and it is my right to be at the head of my regiment. General Haverill, I protest against this. I beg to repeat the wish I have already expressed. Arrest? It is my positive order that you do not reassume your command. My regiment on the front and I on... Keep your sword. I have no desire to humiliate you, but hold yourself subject to further orders from me. Gertrude, if your heart refuses to be silent, if you feel that you must confess your love to that man, first tell him what I have said to you and refer to him to me for as an explanation.
What can he mean? He would save me from something worse than death, he said. His life, it belongs to me. What can he mean? Kerchival told me that he loved me. It seems many since that morning in Charleston, and when we met again yesterday, he said that he had never ceased to love me. I will not believe that he has told me a falsehood. I had given him my whole soul and my faith, my perfect faith. A flag of truce, Gertrude, and a party of Confederate soldiers with an escort coming up the hill. They are carrying someone he's wounded.
General Harvey there. Say to him, please, the Colonel Robert Indian of the 10th Virginia sent his respects and sympathy. He instructed to bring the young officer to this point in exchange for himself, as agreed upon between them last evening.
The general is just about mounting with his staff to ride away. Shall I go for him, sir? Is he unconscious or sleeping, sir?
I thought he would bear the removal better. He is weakening. Here, my lad. We have reached the end of the journey. My father. He is thinking of his home. I have obeyed General Haverill's orders, and I have the report to make.
We have already sent for him. He will be here in a moment.
Is this not Miss Gertrude and Dillingham?
You know me. You have seen me before?
Long ago. You know the wife of General Haverill?
I have no dearer friend in the world.
Give a message for me for my dearest friend I have in the world, my little wife. I must not waste every moment that we are waiting. Doctor, my notebook.
General Haverill is coming. It was just in time. He was already on his horse.
Ah, he is coming. Right. To my wife is enough. Tell our son when he is old enough to know how his father died, not how he lived. And tell her who will fill my mother's place so lovely. She is your mother too. That my father's portrait of her, which she gave me in Charleston, helped me to be a better man. And oh, I must not forget this. It was taken from me away while I was a prisoner in Richmond, and it is the possession of Captain Edward Thornton of the Confederate Secret Service. But her face, it is still beside your own in my heart. My best, warmest, last love to you, darling. And I will sign it. He is dead.
I am too late.
To me, General, we Virginians are your enemies, but we cannot honor this young soldier more than we do. Will you allow my men the privilege of carrying him to his grave?
Brave boy, I hope once to have a son like you. I shall be in your father's place today at your grave. We will carry him to his comrades in the front. He shall have a soldier's burial in sight of the mountain top beneath which he sacrificed his young life. This shall be his monument. Lieutenant!
What is that sound, Gertrude? Listen! It is the opening of a battle. How often have I heard that sound? This is war, Madeline. You are face to face with it now. And Robert is there. And he may be in the thickest of the danger at this moment. Yes, let our prayers go up for him. Mine do, with all a sister's heart. Yes, Kerchival!
To yourselves, I am out of it.
I'll pray for Robert Ellingham, and for the cause in which he risks his life. Heaven forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm praying for the enemies of my country. His people are my people. His enemies are my enemies. Heaven defend him and his... your wound.
Madeline, my sister.
Oh, Kerchival, I cannot help it. I cannot help it.
My poor girl. Every woman's heart the world over belongs not to any country or any flag, but to her husband and her lover. Pray for the man you love, sister. It would be treason not to. Am I right? Is that what I have said to Madeline true? Wound. You do love me.
No, let me call the surgeon, Kerchival.
You can be more service to me than he can. Never mind that. It is only a battle. You love me.
Be quiet, Kerchival dear. I do love you. I told you so when you lay bleeding here last night, but you could not hear me. I said the same thing to another more than 3 years ago. It is in that letter that General BuckThorn gave you. No. You must be very quiet, or I will not say another word. If you obey me, I will repeat that part of the letter, every word. I know it by heart, for I read it a dozen times. This letter is from Miss Haverill.
Go on.
I have kept your secret, my darling, but I was sorely tempted to betray the confidence you reposed in me at Charleston. If Kerchival West had heard you say, as I did, when your face was hidden in my bosom, that night that you loved him with your whole heart.
Ah!
I will go for help.
Do not leave me at such a moment as this. You have brought me a new life. Heaven is just opening before me.
You must not go, Kerchival. It will kill you.
The enemy is close upon us.
With a whisk, the devils have sprung onto the ground. They're pouring over our left flank like the Noah's Oak flood. The Union Army has stormed back for Winchester on the north, to the northern pole. Our own regiment, Colonel, is coming over the hill in full retreat.
My own regiment. Get my horse, Barket. Gertrude, my life.
You must not go, Kerchival. It will kill you.
I am under arrest. Arrest to be damned. Stand out of my way, cowards.
He has marched for death already, and I can only pray.
Listen, fellows, stop, listen. Sheridan, General Sheridan is coming. The horse is down. He is worn out.
No? Oh, he's up again. He's on my Jack. Now for your life, Jack, and for me, you've never failed me yet. Jack! Jack! Jack!